Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the episode 6 spoilers review for Peacemaker. I am the next sports champion, Trash Snell, and I'm joined by
the reigning champ, Kirklin Patzer.
You know what? I had a name, but I'm not feeling it because there was some shade thrown at me today. I'm gonna just do a quick change. I'm the Halo champion, Taylor Field.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. I have some questions about what happened there on Twitter. I was very surprised, but yeah, we got lots of stuff. Obviously, people should go listen. This week we dropped. It feels like an eternity ago when we dropped the town hall, but that was just a few days ago. And it's because we're doing every podcast. You can go listen. I've looked at the GV calendar and listen to this, folks, for the month of February, and there might be more, but for the month of February, you are getting 25 podcasts. You're getting almost one per day. Yeah, there's some good stuff. A gaming show is coming, which debuts next week. Dylan's reviewing Pokemon with a slew of guests, so that's going to be good. Boba Fett finale. We just had a massive Boba Fett episode this week. Thank you, because I have to check the stats, but I think it's probably the biggest review of the year we've had. Biggest episode of the month. I don't know if it's the whole overall of the year, but just a very, very good episode, but very good support by you guys and even new listeners, so we thank you very much. And yeah, thank you for listening to the Peacemaker ones, because I kind of not wrote off Peacemaker. I was like, oh, I don't know, but it kind of has matched some of like the Boba Fett reviews and stuff like that, so that's awesome. I don't think it's going to match this next one because I don't think Peacemaker has any aces up the sleeve to pull as much as Boba Fett did this week, but it's going to be exciting because we're on the way to the penultimate episode next week. So Taylor, as always, now we have just so much content dropping. They need to follow us. They need to know where to get it, when it's live. How can they know these things? The American, Canadian, European, and every other people around the world.
All you human beings out there with the internet connections in the search bar, ladies
Or
and gentlemen.
aliens.
Or aliens. We welcome those. Especially butterflies. Well, one, maybe two, maybe three. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not all of them. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter. GeekVerse on our Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us there. And a lot of good other stuff, too, that you might be able to find. There could be some cool new things dropping on the social media there. Well, remains to be seen, but it's definitely coming. And the Patreon.
It's definitely coming. Yeah, Patreon, head over there. You can do things like you can vote for certain title matches or games we're playing for the Gauntlet. You can get early episodes, exclusive episodes, ad-free. That's a big thing. And yeah, your support there means the world, because if you listen to the town hall, if you didn't, legitimately between listening to the ads to supporting us there, you guys are funding the new shows we do. You're funding like comic versions. You're literally funding the gaming show. That makes it so we can use our free time to, feel compensated, because obviously we already were doing like 3 episodes a week, and now you're almost getting once a week, and we got the reviews and everything, and Batman's on the way. So we very much appreciate it, and we thank you for your support. What else is going on? Everything is down below. The links where to find us on video, audio, where to subscribe to the podcast network, which is 8 shows, and that's like 6 days a week. So that's good stuff going on there. All our separate feeds you can, because as we said, there's going to be a gaming show. I don't even know if it has a name yet. It might just, I don't know. I haven't even talked to.
I'm going to come up with a name when I whip up the logo.
Well, we have talked to Dylan because this is like a trial.
Taylor's show. That's what you're just going to name it.
Call it Dylan Sucks at Halo show.
Oh, but either way, we have the GeekVerse podcast feed. So that is everything. If you like everything we do, that's your one-stop shop. We have the GeekVerse reviews feed, the retrospective feed, and the news feed. Obviously, just those episodes that belong to that genre will be there. Now we have 5 feeds. The GeekVerse gaming feed is live on lots of places, Spotify, Apple, and tons of others. So anything that's a gaming review or gaming news heavy, or like if we did E3, will all be there. Still be on this main podcast. Like I said, if you listen to all, great. But I know there's some people like, hey, I'm just here for this. I'm here for that. Well, you can go subscribe to that one. And also, it's just because we're going to be putting out lots of episodes, so you don't want to miss them. And finally, tomorrow, well, if you're listening to this on the Friday on the podcast feeds, February 4th, 6:15 PST PM, we will be bringing back the GeekVerse Gauntlet. This is a very exciting time. We have not done this since the charity stream, and we've tinkered with this idea around and stuff like that, but we didn't get to really enhance and do it last year. We did little specials here and there, but this year the GeekVerse Gauntlet is back 5 events a week. So if you kind of think like WWE or wrestling, how they have their big pay-per-views, that's what we're doing that, because we used to do weekly, and as you can see, we're podcasting machines, so we got to spend our time a bit more wisely at that. But 5 events, this is the first one. The GeekVerse Gauntlet, the new level. We're kicking off with, first you have the Halo Grudge match, the Halo Exhibition. And this all started because Dylan just messaged me and said, like, hey, I want to verse Halo. I want to verse Halo. I want to verse Taylor in Halo when this game's out. I was like, okay, well, and I booked it because I'm the chairman and I'm the creator of all good things. And it's been some nice back and forth. I've been interested to see how the match is going to go. But Dylan Musk, who rarely uses Twitter, just jumped on today and decided to throw shots at Taylor. Taylor, you want to explain or say what he said and then what you said in response? But I was caught off guard because Dylan pops on every once in a while, maybe promote an episode he's on, and then he's gone. You know, he's not a big social media guy anymore.
Yeah, he popped on. He started attacking my mom, with verbal threats. Just getting so
Holy
rude.
shit.
No, I go on. I like to check the a new like S Bubs post or poll he's always got rocking there, and sure enough, I get a notification on. I'm like, what's going on? What's Dylan tagging me in? And sure enough, it was some shade. I was like, this is uncalled for. This is prejudice against me as a Halo player. I need to deal with this. And I retaliated in not one but 2 tweets, and I've been throwing shade at him all night. So come tomorrow, it's gonna be gloves off, helmets off.
Did you also go at his mom on Twitter?
I'm not that low, no.
No, okay.
Oh, so yeah, you want to be there because what just started as like a little challenge has, even though they're in both different cities, it's spicing up, and I can't wait to see. And this is Dylan's Return the Gauntlet. It's been a long time, so it's gonna be spicy. And then the main event, the match that's been waiting since this November, the sports title match, the rematch, Kirklin versus myself. Kirklin, the longest reigning sports champion, versus myself, the current world champion, the current team champion, and soon to be the sports champion. 3 titles going on. I can't wait. It's going to be, I haven't been that worried. Haven't been practicing at all because I don't really care. I know it's going to be a breed in the park. If you look at our last records, Kirkland's been going down. I've been going up. I got the momentum. I'm very, very excited. You ready there, Kirkland?
Oh, I'm always ready. This has been a long time coming. Ooh, I got some ambiance music. I like this.
I think it's actually funeral music for you.
At least you guys hear it too. I thought I was going crazy there, but no, I've been itching. I've been going crazy, just waiting to actually have a challenge in this sports belt division, whatever the hell we're calling it. I feel like I'm just transcending to a point where, like, it's almost not even worth my time. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow.
So now, obviously, this has all been like planned for a while and get the games and everything sorted out. Now, there are some things that happen that are kind of like out of my control, and me and my wife, sometimes we get into disputes, and we took bets, and I bet on the fact that I would win at Halo, and she bet that I would not win. I would just suck and I'd lose, and because of that, like, she ended up smashing the Wii out of rage.
Oh my god!
I was quite shocked.
What do you mean?
She took the Wii console and she smashed it. She smashed it on the door, and then she proceeded to throw it in the oven, melt it, and then she smashed it again afterwards after it cooled. And it was really, really unfortunate, but it's just one of those things out of my control. I don't know what was happening. I was in here. I was podcasting the newscast with you, Kirklin, and I heard some noise out there, but I didn't go out to check.
That's what that was. I was wondering what it was.
But when I went out, yeah, it was just crazy. So it was a long night last night, and I couldn't find a replacement in time. So the Wii is actually off the table. There will be no Wii games available for your guys' match. But I swear, like, it was just uncalled for, out of my control.
Okay. So this is okay. So to break the fourth wall, I have been practicing since these games. I've been practicing since November, and now you're telling me that the Wii. And now, shut up, Kirk. And now the Wii's not ready to go for tomorrow. So what are we supposed to do? The Wii's not ready to go. There's no Wii.
No, unless we can buy one. Maybe get that on like.
You will buy
or
one.
something.
I'm not buying it because of your dispute. Why is she destroying your gaming consoles?
Because of the gauntlet matchup. We got heated in our discussion.
Well, okay, whatever. Doesn't matter there. So this is what I'm proposing. I hate to disappoint the fans and everything like that, but we had to do this in November because of her hair. I'm saying that we delay this match once again because we've been promoting this. I've been practicing for the Wii games. I'm sure Kirklin has. So Kirklin, what do you say we delay this one more time? And I think we got to do it the right way for the fans. You know, just Halo.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
this
right.
this is terrible. No, this is. I mean, he just admitted that he's been training on the Wii. I don't even own a Wii, so there's no way I could have been training.
Games. It's mind games.
Yeah, it is mind
should
games.
respect
You
that.
pulling the rug right up from under me. You know, night before the match. Hell no. Especially, I feel like you're trying to get out of the clause in the contract stating that if you lose to me tomorrow because there's a specific date on there, then you actually can't challenge me again for the title. I feel like you're trying to wiggle your way out of there. We might have to get some lawyers involved here, but I am absolutely not on board for pushing this match back. I've been just getting into the right mental mind state. I haven't had access to a Wii to train like you have been, and you know, I'm ready on any console. Let's pull out some wild cards and just thrash about and really see who the number one sports guy is, which is me. Oh yeah, I knew he wouldn't like that response. I think I'm getting under his skin. I don't know where you can get those these days. Oh yeah, that one worked. That one got under his skin.
You saw through his contract.
Yes.
Scheme and you called him out on it.
I mean, I'm not gonna say maybe behind the scenes I found out that he was practicing and then put a little message in Madison's ear to actually dispose of the Wii. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that happened, but here we are, and we'll see. He's layered down. We'll see if he. Oh, no, he broke his.
Do you feel like he
computer.
just does that even when we're not casting? Just like huffs in his room and.
Absolutely. I think every morning before work. Just wakes up, realizes he's not a millionaire. Just fuck.
Okay, let's talk about Peacemaker. So this is episode 6. Yeah, Gauntlet tomorrow, whatever. Peacemaker, I'm gonna kick Kirklin's ass. Don't deny it. Don't
So you're
don't
gonna
bet
kick
against
Ruben's
me.
ass? Did you
Don't
say
bet.
Ruben?
I said Kirklin. Listen up,
okay.
fucking. I'm gonna have you and I, Wolf Warrior. You're supposed to give me a heads up. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to your wife. Anyways, episode 6 of Peacemaker. Non-sports thoughts. Phil, go. I need some water.
Yeah, it was definitely an escalated episode. It was really getting into the thick of it now. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would still say, like what I said before, like episode 2 and 3 are still probably my favorites, but this one is definitely snuck up into that third place slot. I really enjoyed what we got. Again, the escalation and the build up to where we're heading now in this story. There was a lot of good development with certain characters and stuff like that. And again, like the follow-up of the fallout, I should say, of what happens after last week's cliffhanger. I was really excited to see how that was kind of unfolding. And yeah, this episode just acted as like a good hype train, just to kind of see what we're going to come to in the next episode. So like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
He's meditating. I guess I'll go next. Yeah, so I really like this episode. There was some good laugh moments that really was tickling my fancy, and this guy's got to mute his mic. He's got a mouth breather over here. You're supposed to get it all out before the Peacemaker review. Come on. And but anyways, no, I quite like this episode for the comedy side, and yeah, after last week's cliffhanger and just speculating what could happen, it was answered very early in this episode, and it was something I wasn't expecting, and it's leading us to an interesting story-wise destination. I think there was quite a lot in this episode. Was this the penultimate or one more?
One
Until
more.
the penultimate. Okay. It very much felt like a lead into a finale though. Like while I was watching, I thought this was the second last episode just for where we're going. But I'm glad that we do have 2 more to maybe just stretch certain things out, so it's not just a big hot mess going into the finale. But yeah, it's solid epi.
Solid epi. Well, I'm back. I'm ready to talk. Don't worry
Perfect.
about me. Don't worry about me. So I like this episode. It's I liked it, I think, better than last week. Obviously, I don't think it had as big as that laugh moment that we got last week, but that's gonna be tough because I just think about that and I'm just like, man, I'd laugh every time. So I don't think there was anything like that. There was a few good one-liners. So I appreciate that. It's funny that last week I felt was not a filler episode. I think these are definitely built up, but last week was a more character development episode. This to me was really the exposition set up the stakes for the grand finale sort of feel. Like multiple enemies or, antagonists are being set up to take down our heroes. We find out a lot about the butterflies and what the purpose is and what the issue is and all these kind of things we've been wondering the whole season, some motivations behind other characters. So as last week was, like I said, the more emotional or kind of developmental of people's feelings or personalities, this was just, okay, I feel like we're going to get everything. We're going to get all the chess pieces on the board. So next week we can start playing. And I know that's weird because like they've been doing the whole season, but I feel like these next 2 episodes are going to be really kind of barreling towards the end, but in a good way. I think like what Kirklin said, we've had a few shows this year, last year, whatever, a mix of between Hawkeye and Dexter that we all, liked to varying degrees, but I feel like we could agree with the overall season. The back half, it's like, man, if we had a little more time, this could have felt a bit more natural. I think that's a good thing with this feeling like a penultimate episode is that we have next week, which there's a lot to deal with. And I almost said some spoilers. There's lots of deals, so I feel like also maybe the finale is gonna be primarily action, and I think that's good because if the finale was just action, there's a lot set up. I'm interested to ask you guys of certain characters and whatnot, what's gonna happen if they're gonna save it for season 2 or not. We've talked about.
Wonder what we talked about.
Yeah, we'll never
You have any
know.
guesses? Oh.
First, my Wii gets broken, and now we're cutting me off. Wow, what's going on? It's inside
It's
job
Madison
against me.
in the server room.
Fucking yeah, I'm gonna have some words with Madison. Jeez, best
Fuck
man
you,
out
Travis.
there. Now
Just pulling
whatever.
plugs.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some words. Don't. It's not a laughing matter. Tomorrow we're gonna have some feisty words, Taylor. So you better prepare your wife. So, I'm interested to see because they've kind of not insinuated, but pretty much hinted that we are going to be getting a season 2. It's successful. James Gunn says he wants to do in Crew. So I am wondering of what's going to be held. So yeah, I liked it overall. Not one of my all-time favorite episodes. I shouldn't say all-time. There's only fucking 6, but it's not in the top 3. I don't think. At least it's just I feel like if maybe it's weird, it could be in the top 3, but I feel like episode 3 and 4 are in like a tier by their own. I feel like they're the strongest, and then the other ones are kind of varied throughout. So yeah, good episode. Peacemaker, always enjoy it. Anything else spoiler or non-spoiler wise to say before we get in this?
Let's jump in.
All right, we're gonna take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back with episode 6, Peacemaker spoilers. And we're back. So, where do you gentlemen want to begin on the spoiler front?
Probably the butterfly situation. Goth, that was his pet butterfly, actually escaped now and is going off. And I don't think it's going to be such the friendly route that I was expecting it was going to go. I don't know. What do you guys think about that whole situation? Because they said that was so that was the leader, and then now it's taken over. Gosh, I forget her name, but
The detective. Yeah.
Sophie. Thank you.
Taylor, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, again, the whole scene building up to that is just the dialogue between Vigilante and Peacemaker, and then when he falls and he breaks the jar that he taped to his waist, I was in awe because I thought, okay, like, is it gonna go up? Like, it's not gonna go up anyone's rear like they were like talking about.
Funny, yeah.
Like that would be
The
so
whole prison,
weird.
the whole cop shop, they're all just going up the
God,
rear.
yeah. So yeah, it was very like ruthless. Just that whole scene was very like cringing and just like grotesque because it just went in, just the blood shooting out of the mouth and just kind of like. I guess there's no peaceful way for something to kind of like hijack your brain, and this thing just like it felt like an assault and took over. And now Sophie is one of them. Sophie is now Goth, which is interesting. So I wasn't expecting her to take over the whole police station with all the butterflies. It's kind of weird. Like, why would the butterflies use little spaceships when they could just fly around? So it's weird.
I got Men in Black vibes seeing all those ships.
I did too.
I'm like, this is
yeah.
totally just like it's being revealed that there's just been like aliens living amongst us this whole time.
Taylor, why wouldn't you just walk to work, but then you drive?
Yeah, but if I
He doesn't have
could
wings. Come
if
on.
I could run as fast as I could drive, then there's no point.
But no, you could take the fastest runner in the world, but you know what's going to happen? It could even outrun for a car for a bit. You know what's going to happen? What's going to happen, Taylor? They're going to get tired. They're going to get exhausted. They're going to.
Yeah, but if let's say the village, the city, whatever you call it, the square, town square is all with carts and wagons, and I pull up in like a GTO
But that's not
Mustang,
the case, though.
like
That's not the case, though, because they're flying, which could be, like Kirklin said about Men in Black, they could be flying very high tech, so they could fly fast, but what if these things fly even faster? It saves them energy, like, it doesn't compromise. So imagine if they're, like,
well,
if
that's
they're
the same
fucking
thing. Like,
a trillion miles away, and it's like, okay, I'm going to flap my wings to Earth. No, just get in this little ship.
but
and
it's
you're
very,
zoom
it's
there.
not inconspicuous. Like that's the same thing. Like if there's old like village folk from the town square, the serfs and everything like that, and I pull up in that Mustang. Be like, what
But
the
clearly they were waiting for a moment. Like they might have shown up on other spaceships, but I imagine if they've come to Earth, it's been maybe in little pockets, stuff like that, or it's been like this, where it's just an empty field. Mission Creek right now, Taylor, you're all in your cryptic clues right now. There could be something in the woods where all these fucking aliens are landing. You wouldn't even know. So that's
No,
where
but I
like,
would be able to go find all their ships because they just left all of them on the ground.
yeah, well, yeah, but you wouldn't be looking for them. It might take by time.
I don't have to. There's like 300 of them.
Clearly, with them taking over the cop shop and everything, and then like growing in numbers, I think clearly whatever their attack plan is, it's about to go down. So it's like, yeah, you may find the ships, but it won't matter because there's going to be a bunch of fucking aliens up your asshole. Like it's too late. So that's why I feel like the ships are just like to help. They don't gotta fly there. I'm gonna tell you that next time you go somewhere. Oh, just walk, Taylor. It's fine. But yeah, I'm still interested to see because remember I think it was season or episode 3 at the end when they showed all the butterflies and they showed like how many there are, and then now I was like this just jumped up from okay, this is a already bigger scale thing, but especially for our main characters, those butterflies are all over the world. So it's like, is this really going to affect John Cena and the crew? But now with it being immediate, with the police looking for him, all these police are these aliens, the butterflies. That's where the stakes have raised a great deal because then we're going to get to him. You have his dad supposedly after him, and now you have all these cops after him. I will wonder why it's Goth. Was it Garth? Goth? I thought it was Garth.
Goth.
Was it
Goff?
Goth. Okay, it's like G off, but just take the E off. Like,
When Taylor said Sophie went full goth, I was
Yeah.
like, what happened? What happened?
I'm glad you-
She's just like Toby. Get on. Something's different with Sophie.
Just being such a dick to like her little buddy. Forget his name. The
Yeah.
guy from Scary Movie.
Yeah, I like that little giggle. But anyway, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I also wonder with Goff, like why. I think he did. John Cena did keep him in the jar, but he also didn't kill him. So I feel I was kind of surprised by the immediate. We got to find Peacemaker. Now we don't know for sure. They're just to arrest him. Maybe they want his help for something. Maybe that's why they want to find him. I think they're proposing it's like these new butterfly cops are gonna hunt him down. But I don't know because we didn't get to the full explanation of what Goff wants. We were doing the tapping. We still don't know if he likes teal or not. But like a bunch of tapping, and we never got that answer. Taylor, you're big into cryptic clues and conspiracy theories and whatnot. You're looking at this with the aliens. What do you think? What do you think their purpose is to butterflies right now, as far as Goff and his friends?
I think their general tactic of using the sci-fi films to kind of like find what the possible ploy is was actually quite genius. I really got a kick out of that. And then when Vigilante started naming off the random films, I really fucking laughed at that. But as far as what their plan and agenda is, they don't need help to be sent back home because their planet's dying. Like the only thing that they didn't ask it was like, are you here to just take over the Earth? And that's something that Myrn kind of highlight a little bit, like, hey, they're taking over, doing all these things. We really liked your planet. But he also said, like, I'm pretty sure he said, like, we weren't technically going to be staying here for a long time, or like he's the defector because he was like considered the weakest link or something like that. I feel personally that they came to this planet, maybe didn't have the intention of sticking around for a long period of time, but obviously they've really started to like it, and they're going to roll with it. So, I mean, rocking a fleshy exoskeleton, like, they basically gives them 9 lives if they can just enjoy the world and the technology that we have as human beings. So,
Yeah, it's funny because I guess so. Where I am on the show right now, that I'm enjoying it, but I guess why, and I guess it's also a weird thing because it feels very similar when we got No Way Home, and then we got Hawkeye the same week. And Hawkeye still liked the finale, had lots of problems. I was like, oh man, we got No Way Home, and it was just such a ride. So it's like we just came off Boba. I know obviously I'm not expecting this to be Boba quality, but it's just like I was like, okay, I was so hyped, and then when I watched, I think my worry is. And the good thing is with them having 2 episodes, I was looking very forward for Peacemaker to really start to cover him having that existential crisis. Now, I like that they had that conversation this episode of like, usually you just kill people, and then I like when he's like, what happens if you kill innocent? Be like, well, it's a whoopsie, and then you move on. I like that we were trying to go in that direction very early on, and we get little sprinkles of it here and there, but I worry now with the next 2 episodes being very much about the aliens, we're going to lose some of that like personal stuff that was happening with Peacemaker and that growth. So that's why I like what's happening, but it doesn't interest me as much as where we're kind of going. And I get it because it's this alien invasion, so I guess I'm probably more interested in what happens with him and his dad than I am the alien. So I don't hate the butterflies thing. I just because I think we just know the result that they're going to keep the good butterflies around, or they're going to go back home and then they're going to kill the good ones, and it's going to go away. And that's where it's because maybe it's because butterflies feel like it's such like a grand scale thing. I wish it was a bit more personal. I don't know, Kirk. Where are you on the butterflies right now? And that's going to be probably the finale as far as this big battle or big saving, whatever it might be.
Yeah, like what you mentioned there about liking or wanting to see like him and his dad stuff versus the butterflies. That's why I'm glad there is 2 episodes left, because I'm hoping that we can actually dip into both those pools, not just have to get like a very quick mention and like just trying to save a minute or two for what the finale might be. So that's awesome. We have 2 more episodes, and with the butterflies, something that really interested me. With having Myrn as like kind of I'd call him a good butterfly right now. We really don't know what his full intentions are, but it just shows that it's not just like a hive mind that the butterflies are. Like there is maybe some that are like disagreeing with some of the other ones. That's not confirmed or anything. I just feel like with Myrn being not just like dead set on like that route that the other ones are, specifically like the Goth butterfly and just all of his little, I don't know, his whatever you'd call them, his loyal butterflies. Because I don't know, like on the surface it seems like they're kind of a hive mind, but then I mean just the fact that they have like someone who is kind of a hierarchical. God, that's a hard word to say.
Let us fuck the Oracle.
Yeah, he's the one that puts the green light on the fucking. But no, it's just interesting because it shows that maybe the butterflies could stick around like past the show. Maybe there'll be some good ones, and they'll be fun to have. But no, I don't really know what their like goal is other than just survival. They must have came from somewhere, so maybe the somewhere they came from isn't habitable or something anymore.
Big Wumba and I want to show because I think this is what I'm not sure if he's asked this as a miss or whatnot, or some of that maybe we didn't talk about, but Myrrh was a defected butterfly to stop others. That's exactly what I took upon of just, I think it was kind of, they came there together and maybe they had different intentions, and I think he was like Taylor said, we don't know exactly if they're down to stay or just stop there for a while, but it seems like some of the butterflies he was there with wanted just to take over and maybe just mass murder people or just take with their lives away, right? And this butterfly was kind of like, I don't really want that. I tell you, you're going to speak, but I also want to ask you one thing. Do you think the butterflies, like, do you think they can leave the body like naturally and the person's still intact? Because obviously we haven't seen that yet, right? We've just seen people die and then the butterfly comes out. So like with Sophie, I was very surprised the butterfly got her because I thought, okay, is there a chance that they can't come back? And if that's it, I'm surprised, and that's why I am leaning towards, I think that they will be, you could extract a butterfly and they're normal, but where are you on that? And also, you were going to say something else.
I have a hunch that they'll be able to leave the like at first instinct, I would say no, because like whatever it did to take over the body, it was extremely fucking excruciating.
Yes.
But with how many characters they actually took over, a part of me does think that James Gunn would go the route where, hey, they'll relinquish control of all these people. And I think that'll start with them killing, I mean, maybe making the threat like, hey, you guys have to leave the planet or we're going to kill your last source of food. Take it with you, get off the planet, something like that. But we'll see. It could just go sour and James Gunn could be like, hey, they're all just going to die.
Yeah, Espub says that the way the blood was gushing out, it seemed like their head was being carved in, and that's where
Oh yeah.
I agree with that, and that's where I guess I'm a little more disappointed because I'm not like I was in love with the Sophie character. Again, we got more of like the racial back and forth, and again, I'm like I'm not against it. I just feel like we do it every time her and White Dragon are together, and I get it. And the donkey joke. I liked more the guy being like, see you later, and then he's like, wouldn't want to be or whatever. And it's like, what the fuck would you say that? Like, I like their dynamic, but I guess I feel if Sophie if Sophie's just gone, if she's dead, I kind of feel like I wasted some time with this character for the season. I wish she wasn't in it as much then. I wish she was just more of a minor role. And then it's like, okay, she will eventually, take over by a butterfly, and she's just kind of an empty vessel. I don't know. I would feel a little disappointed if now Sophie's just gone, the butterfly version. Does anyone agree with that? Or are you guys fine if it's just, okay, she's gone,
I kind of agree with that. I feel if it doesn't work out that way, I wouldn't be surprised because the whole transition of her being taken over was a long scene. It was a long build up, kind of like, oh, like regret, like shit, this is really happening. This kind of sucks. So
Kind of sucks. Not fully sucks, just kind of sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I haven't grown attached to her enough to really care that she could possibly be gone. I thought there was gonna be like potential of like if she's turned, we could have a moment where her and her little sidekick there have like a stare down. Maybe he's the one that, like puts a bullet in her, but now he's just a butterfly, so that's
Yeah.
that ship's kind of sailed. So yeah, and just of like the logistics of the if they can get them back. Great point with all the blood. I feel like that's a hard thing to ignore. The looks like it's done some pretty permanent damage, especially just where like the butterflies are. Like they're taking up some space that parts of the person's
Yes.
brain is probably taken up. So I can't really imagine that they make it out alive. I'd be willing, I'd be interested in the explanation on why they are able to still be alive if they go that route, but it's not looking hot for our butterfly people. And there's a lot of them now, so that's a big hit on the population.
Oh yeah, lots of people for Peacemaker and crew just to gun down and everything like that. Even though, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like we're moving away from the whole crisis of conscience sort of thing with Peacemaker, which that's what really interests me in the show. I like Peacemaker enough that already I'll like the episode, but I thought to really like with the stuff that they were covering in the beginning and with the Suicide Squad movie with Rick Flag. I thought the show would be more about that, where I feel like the next two episodes we could get the data, but it's gonna be very like Arnold action, 80s, which is fine. That's cool. Taylor Field GeekVerse podcast trying to show his true quality.
Kirklin, when you mentioned a hive mind, that made me kind of like think like they necessarily don't share like a collective consciousness, but at any time they can just go into the internet or their database. Because when Sophie went on, it was like pulling up the weird digits. Her partner
that's
was
true.
like, Sophie, like those aren't even letters. Like that made me laugh, but. I just think that's interesting how they have this network embedded in our network that they can kind of communicate with. And we still haven't seen kind of how that's connected with that artifact that Peacemaker took from that one chick's house. So
Right.
I'm curious how that's going to come into play. Maybe it's got to have some more important device. Or did it turn? It didn't turn into a ship, did it? When he was holding it? Because I know when it activated.
It looked like a weapon in his hands, but nothing really
Okay.
happened with it. It could have been a ship. I don't know. Maybe it's just meant for little butterflies.
I was just going to throw out some comments to chat because, people nice enough to join us live. So this is really a big one. But I think that Goth was hiding his true intention from Peacemaker. The plan of the butterflies to take over the world leaders to stop climate change and all that stuff. Could be. Goth is he's a mysterious guy. S. Bubs, which is asking a question I think many people are, and this will lead me to my favorite line of the episode. Do you think a Just League / Suicide Squad member will show up? If so, now I want to say it's not as funny as, but it's just a personal thing for me why it was funny.
The anticipation. Oh, it's
I'm
killing
so
me.
intrigued at what
There
the
we
person.
Goddamn. So he goes to, which is a great scene. The janitor from the first episode brings him in like a bring your family member to work day or school day, and he's talking about why he's a superhero and all this stuff. And I love just the kids like razzing on him, like, "Oh yeah, I took down Kite Man." It's like, well, wasn't the velocity in his body weight take him down? And I was like, no, and like and like all this stuff. That's great. But then when someone's like, "Have you ever?" The girl with the Flash T-shirt puts her, "Have you ever met Flash?" He's like, "Yeah," and I have the same opinion that everyone else else does. He's an overbearing douchebag, and then he just moves on, and the kid's just crushed. And like, because this is supposed to take place in the DCU, right? So it's supposed to take place where Ezra Miller's Flash is his Flash, and fuck, that got me because that's like, I know I feel like James Gunn is just saying that about the Flash. He gets that about any character, right?
Yeah.
But like, I feel like it for me and what I feel about Ezra Miller's Flash, it especially flits. What the fuck was that? Especially flits. Especially
new word.
Yeah, especially fits here because he just is kind of I don't know. Like, there's just something about this Flash where it's just like, fuck this Flash. So when he took that shot, I was like, oh, fantastic. I think the most we could get is maybe a squad member, and I think we've talked about this before where it's like a Weasel or something. I could see an end credit, something as a fun joke. I think opportunities like that open up more if we get a season 2, because I feel like season 1 is like the test run, and if it's very much of a hit, HBO Max, Warner Brothers, Discovery, whoever going to be fucking running this company in a year once the merger is done, I think they'll be like, okay, this was a hit. It's being streamed lots. If you want a character, if you want a bit more budget, here you go. I don't know if you actually need anyone from the Justice League. Like, I don't know who I would. There's no one I would really pick, to be honest, that would like fit. Like, I out of all the people, I just don't. There's nothing There's no one I guess I'm really dying to see. So I think it would be someone from Suicide Squad. But I think it is. I think the most you could do, and you, Kirklin, were kind of comparing the him to Red Guardian. You could do something like that where you have a Justice League member and they just completely blow him off, where he's like, hey, you know, like and just like, or I would love if it's not one, they would never do this. But I would love if it was like, remember in Deadpool 2 when they had that moment when he was in the X Mansion and there's the room of all the X-Men and they closed the door on Deadpool and he's like, where is everybody? And they closed the door. I would love something like that where he's like pitching himself to be Justice League and they just fucking roast the guy, like, or even just like deny him like being like not even any thought of being in the Justice League. So I don't think it's gonna happen for either or, and I don't know, like I said, James Gunn's smart enough, but there's no one right now fits. But again, when we get a Justice League, I think we will get a Justice League 2. I think it's gonna be a very different roster. You'll have the, you know, Supergirl in there. You'll have Batgirl, stuff like that. You know, fuck, maybe just Michael Keaton's the one I want, just for him to like razz Peacemaker. I don't know, because he called Batman a pussy. Do you guys? Again, I think we've talked about this before, but any Suicide Squad. You kill me, Smalls. You kill me.
I think it was Weasel. That was the one that we were pitching earlier on. That it seems like it fits the easiest because there's not a lot of like baggage and weight to that character. It doesn't really matter what comes of him. Just logistically, you know, getting someone like that versus like Margot Robbie on set to like film these scenes, I feel like, yeah, Weasel. Weasel would be the route. Get Sean Gunn to be Weasel. Was he Weasel in Suicide Squad? Sean Gunn?
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
Of course.
Yeah, so I don't really have any guesses. I love the Michael Keaton one. You know, realistically, do we get Michael Keaton here? Probably not, but I would love to see it.
Yeah, like, because the rumor is he is a 3-picture movie deal, and it makes sense as far as case in Flash, he's in Batgirl, and then one more. Do they really want to use on Peacemaker? No, I don't. I'm fine if they don't use on Peacemaker. I'd be more fine if like we sign him to like a 7-8 movie deal. But I don't. And this is what I wanted to bring up too before Taylor goes. Big Wumbo says I don't think it takes place in the Snyderverse. The logo of Wayne Enterprises is the same as Nolan's Batman. One, I did not know that, so I'm gonna call on S Bubs. If you do have a screenshot of that, please drop it in the Discord because I'd love to see that. And two, I feel like DC right now, and Big One, we're not saying you're wrong. If that's true, that makes sense. I think the thing is, if it doesn't play, like, if it's not takes place in the Snyderverse, like, where does that count Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn? Because they knew each other. She goes back to the Suicide Squad, which is in the original squad, which is in the Snyderverse, right? So I think it's just a case of like Sony where it's like, hey, we're going to use a picture. We're going to have Tom Holland's Spider-Man on the wall. Why is it a picture of Tobey's Spider-Man? Oh, it's just whatever. Fuck it. Like, remember that trailer for Morbius? Is like, there's a Daily Bugle from Amazing Spider-Man. There's a logo from Spider-Man. I think that's what they are, where it's just some fucking guy just like, oh, just get a Wayne Enterprises logo and throw it on there. I still do think it's in the DCU until told otherwise, just because that's where it did originate. Even James Gunn didn't say it retcon anything in DCU. It's just a new Suicide Squad movie, you know? So, Taylor Field?
Oh, that's a tough one. Who could be coming into this show? I mean, I'm not super familiar with all the characters, and the ones I am familiar with just aren't likely to. Like Polka Dot Man not happening. Margot Robbie, yeah, no.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe a king shark, which would be unlikely still, I feel like, but it would be very humorous.
Steve G was also the like the stand-in body for that. So there you go.
That's
He's already
true.
on set.
That's true.
But
You
then
just
you
gotta
gotta-
get Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, you gotta
right?
pay
That's the other
Sylvester
part.
Stallone. I feel like the only one that like
Do you?
you don't really, but you do because now he's in
Yeah,
the
you
voice.
do.
What about Bloodsport? I feel like he's like one of the more like
I
possible
thought about
ones.
that, but I don't know. I wouldn't see that in like a season 1 this season by any
Yeah.
means. It'd be later on when, because like he's going through this redemption arc, right? So I think Bloodsport would tie into that. Maybe for like a round 2, who knows? But later on, he would come in and kind
Yeah.
of bounce off of Peacemaker, but not right now. So
I
I
just
don't
don't
think
think
we'll get anyone.
Yeah, I don't think it fits where we are now. It's just like I don't think we're other than if it was the same thing like a Captain America Patience end credit scene of him sitting in the chair and be like patient, like something that was really jokey, but I really don't think so. Let's take our next ad break and then we will be right back. And we're back. So we talked about the butterflies. I really liked the escape scene between Vigilante and Peacemaker. That was tons of fun. And when he's like when the whole conversation how like Goth got breaking out, but just like, oh, you Ubered over? Yeah, it's a day off. We're gonna drink. You're gonna what? Oh, we're gonna. And then he does that, and like that again. That would it's ripped. That would be me and Taylor exactly. Like Taylor would do something like that.
I keep getting those fucking like the
that
phone
whole
shits
that
and
whole
everything.
tree thing, and then when I can't remember when he's just Vigilante said something, and Cena just looked at him and said like, "Yeah, and fuck yourself." Like he's just like he's friendly with him, and he just like is so mean to him. But I love that he's like, "What? How do you know my password?" It's like, "Oh, I know my own birthday, douchebag," and like lots of good dialogue between the two.
That scene when they're in the trees and Vigilante grabs the knife, I chuckled at that when he's gonna throw it at the cop.
That was a
and then
deadly knife too.
It was.
Yeah.
Peacemaker's like cop, and then what did Vigilante say? Did he say cuck?
He's like cook, I think. She's a cook.
Something like that, yeah. And then he just like shrugged and like, okay, I'll put it away. And yeah, Peacemaker again. That's one thing. Again, they are still showing that he's changing. I still like that. I just want more of it. I want to be more centered around that instead of the big battle for the aliens. But they show, he's pretty. I won't say disturbed, but I don't know. He's pretty disappointed that those cops all got shot up at the end. Like he didn't seem happy about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of weight on him.
Yes.
And that's, I mean, it's kind of a running thing with this character through the show, right? Of just that transition of not wanting to just be a killer anymore. And just fighting with his own internal battles and his battles, like the trauma with his brother, with his dad, all these things are popping off. He's got friends now. So it's a lot for little old Peacemaker. But yeah, just quickly like touching upon what you guys were saying, just the Vigilante and him like back and forth. It's so fun for me. I feel like I'm loving majority of it. Maybe in the early stages it was like 60-40. Now it's like easy like 80-20, if not more. So it's really great humor there, and yeah, I just love how like both of them are definitely like idiotic in like certain situations. But it's just so great when Vigilante just like thinks he has such like a great idea, and Cena just absolutely just like shoots him down. And it's similar like thinking that like when Peacemaker was talking about the chick that he fucked in the first episode, and he's just like, "What are you talking about? Like she didn't just blow me, man. We fully fucked. Like it was a big
fuck, dude."
It was a great moment, and it's just so like besides the point of what. I guess Myrn, the butterfly, was trying to make it in that situation. But
Yeah.
no, they're really great. Yeah, that deadly ass knife that Vigilante pulled out. He ended up using it anyways, when they were running away. He just pulled it out, fucking.
I wasn't expecting it. Just whipped it. The most she'll
Absolutely
just get paralyzed. Like
I'm like, really? Okay. That seemed like it went fully into the target, that weapon. So
oh, it did. That's you talking about like their smarts and stuff when he calls out like Vigilante for not being too bright when he's meeting with the other crew, and then he was like, you get 50% in school, that's a D. I was like, no, that's
That was just a test. Yeah, no, and I liked their whole conversation because to me, like it worked quite well for just the conversations that happen nowadays. But I can't remember what the word or I can't remember what he says. Some word that's like derogatory, and like you can't say that. And then he's like, well, yeah,
he's saying Oriental.
yeah, and they explain the difference and everything like that. And he's like, yeah, well, people called me this all the time. It's like, why can't I say it? It's like, oh wow, you poor white dude, you got to take one word out of your vernacular for the rest of your life. What the punishment? And he's like, I said fine, like all really good.
It's like whining. It's so great.
Yeah, and I love the just moment too where after that all happens, they're all putting together this mission, and they're all in the know, and he's not. And you really get this sense that he is not whatever bond they were forming last week. It's starting to break because he's just looking at it. And then he looks at a bio like she doesn't even look at him. It's just like he's very much like. And yes, Peacemaker is a douchebag. He's not always right. Like probably keeping Goff and not telling them was not a good idea. But still, it's just like you can see the level of the trust just breaking away and just like fuck all you guys, like you guys clearly know something. Like when he's like, okay, what's the mission, and they just know it, and he's like, well, how do you know we're going here and doing this? And they just like Myrn doesn't respond, no one responds, because we learned in this episode that okay, Myrn is he's a good butterfly, he's trying to help out, but we also in Harcourt know that Diebeard knew, even though he literally, as they set up the joke, plugs his ears, which I thought is a fine joke, but I didn't actually need to see in person, but that's all right. Everyone knows everything about the situation except Peacemaker, and it shows that he might be like needed for the mission because his muscle and his skill, but really he's still like the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to being in the know, which is something clearly he doesn't like.
Absolutely. I mean, especially with how this episode ended, like with the diary being revealed, Peacemaker having no idea what it was about, and now he apparently he has a diary. Yeah, I keep a notepad. I feel like we're just getting to a point where there's going to be the reveal that he finds out that Adebayo was the one that did that, and then that's going to be like a big tearing of that friendship, because that's probably like the most personable relationship out of the group is those two. They've had a lot of moments to kind of bond, and she was peeling back some of his douchebag layers and just getting down to the person that is Chris, whatever his last name is.
Chris Smith?
John Cena. Oh, yeah, Chris Smith.
Yeah.
That's right.
But then I
Super
feel like
generic name.
these trust issues bring the douchiness more back because he pushes the other people away.
Yeah.
And it's like a
Mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to shout out in the Discord, thank you as always. S-Bubs did point out that it is not the Nolan logo for the Wayne Enterprises. So, sorry, big one, but it's tough to beat S-Bubs. He always knows everything. And shout out S-Bubs.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, S-Bubs, you're always changing the Discord picture every day. I will, or every week. One great picture of the certain cameo of this week. But I will shout out, Taylor found a way to make sure that the link in Discord does not change ever again. So if you want to join the Discord,
that's big.
it is down below. So make sure you do that. Taylor, how do you feel about kind of the group now being divided? Everyone, like we said, everyone knows. We've learned that Harcourt knew and stuff like that before. And Peacemaker's on the bottom. I guess the Vigilante's really on the bottom because he literally just... What does he say? At one point, is he like, look, I'm a scarecrow? What does he do? He stands in front of them and he's like doing something, like he's trying to act as something. I can't remember what the joke was.
Remember.
I wasn't a fan of it.
Vigilante was trying to act?
Yeah.
He was trying to be like, look, like which one of us is eagly?
Something like that. Yeah, and it was just like, that's where Vigilante's still like a very 50-50. Some of the stuff really hits, and then some of the stuff I just go like, I don't need this at all. But what do you feel about the dynamic of the group now?
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it is shifting to be this trust issues, but at the same time I feel like it's just they know they can't really trust the kind of weight on Peacemaker because I mean he would have just blown Myrn's head off right then and there.
Yes.
The trust is still there because I think you have Amelia making the engraving into the P90 for John Cena for Peacemaker. So I think that's nice. Even though she did it like reversed, but it still counts. So
let's see here. I think I hit most of my. I guess we should talk about his death, or where do you want to go, Kirklin?
I'll quickly mention, because you're talking about how like the friend dynamic, everybody kind of knows about Myrn and him being a butterfly except for Peacemaker. I forgot to mention at the very beginning of this episode, like, it's revealed that, I'm not going to hurt you. And then here comes Harcourt, and she's, as well, like, not going to hurt you. We're all okay here. Man, what's with, like, Myrn just squealing at her, like, chasing her like he's a fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like he's going to just murder her. And it's just so intense. I love when these, like, confusion moments happen for, like, comedy sense, but, like, logistically, it's like, really? Could he not just been like, hold on a minute? He has to just do his butterfly squeal at her. Maybe it's like a defense mechanism. Maybe she scared him and he just he screamed.
It's literally just to
Oh, 100%.
a
Yeah.
cliffhanger of the
Yeah.
show, right? No, I laugh because like you open, you cut to her in the rain crying. He's like, "I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm nice." Like it's just like, yeah. Then why the fuck were you squealing at her, like running like a walker from like Last of Us, or like a clicker?
clicker,
It's just like,
yeah.
yeah, like why are you doing this, Mern? Don't like, but.
Reminded me of Sirius Black, accusing
Yeah.
just let me kill him.
Oh, I can't wait to get my fucking hands on him. I'm gonna cut him dry. Hey,
I'm
just
gonna kill you, Harry.
yeah,
It's like
yes.
so like what?
Sirius Black, just can you just make it like really known you're not talking about Harry? What do you mean? Like I think he thinks talking, and they put it, I'm gonna murder you, and it's just like these kids don't fucking know you're hiding around. I've been doing my time, 12 years. I hate that scene so much. It's just I don't like stuff like that. And that's where I guess it's tough because I like stuff like that where it is in a comedy. Now people are gonna go, well, Peacemaker is a comedy. That moment's not being played for laughs though, because it's a serious moment last episode and serious moment here. So I never like that when it's literally just a character could say 1 to 2 words and explain it. And like in this situation, just not run. Just put your hand up and say, hey, I'm sorry. Because what's going to happen? Like even then the squealing.
The squeal is the nail in the coffin. It's like, okay, maybe he's like, no, it's okay. He's kind of chasing her. Just bitch squeal at her.
And like even if he was squealing at her, he's like, it's okay. I'd still be running. Like, no, trust me. I'm a good guy.
It's over for you.
Yeah. Actually, it's not over for you. I was talking about, this guy over here. His dad gets out of jail, and not much happens here other than he's told us viewers that he's going to kill. He should have done something he should have done a long time ago. He's going to kill his son, and we get to see him put on the full white dragon outfit, and all these guys are praying him in a very Hitlerish way. There's not much here. Like I said, this was a setup for things. I think Kirklin's right, where we're 2 episodes, you'll probably get this. I could imagine Peacemaker will be on the run next episode, and his dad will track him down. They'll fight, have a talk, whether that is finally connecting or more or less not connecting. But I think Peacemaker, my prediction is he'll have a chance to kill his dad, and he won't, and that shows some growth there, even though his dad's a bad guy. And we'll have to see what Vigilante does, because Vigilante's completely down to fucking kill his dad. So maybe Vigilante kills his dad, and that creates a wedge between them. So I think there's lots of possibilities with the dad.
Might I present a third plausible option? A
Ooh,
butterfly. We have his mask, which is obviously butterfly proof. They're going to portray it. At some point, the mask comes off, butterfly goes in, and
I mean, we haven't seen his ass.
Good.
Maybe he could go in there.
Well, he goes in and becomes
Ant-Man
like
style.
a good dad, I guess you could say, or Peacemaker, like, oh, you can stay, and they're like, yeah, you're a good dad now, or something like that. I feel like it's wonky enough that they could do something like that if another butterfly is to change your heart and just kind of rolls with it.
Like, you're not wrong. I don't want that, but you're not wrong. Like, the show's so
Just a really
zany.
great dad. He's just like, hey man, what you want to hang out this weekend? Just like really personable with Chris Smith.
And all these people think he's a fucking racist, so they keep coming up to him with their
He's
words.
fighting for justice.
Yeah.
So I mean, definitely a bad guy, but I must say that suit that he has, it's so badass. it's I can picture that, coming out in Warzone or something. But yeah, no, he's got his crew of bad he's got his bad batch with him, and they're ready to be bad. Woke butterfly.
Yeah.
It's another just build up thing for like some impending doom that's coming. And I am curious of what the split of action is moving forward, because we have a lot of butterflies looking like they're ready to kick ass, and a lot of racist neo-Nazis that look like they're definitely hunting down Peacemaker, because I mean that's basically the only goal that he has, right? His dad.
Yeah.
That's all he said. I just want to kill my fucking son.
I was gonna say maybe that's the battle though. You get the Nazis versus the butterflies. That's the type of attack the clones.
But who becomes the heroes?
Peacemaker at the end? They let them fight each other, then he just comes with a flamethrower and just destroys them all. So. A crew of Ezra Miller's enemies. Yeah, that's a whole different story. You can look at that yourself, listeners. Is there... I was going to refer to something Big Wombo said where he says that the Peacemaker and Hardcore are definitely going to get it on. I don't know for sure. I think it could still happen. I think what I'm pitching is I guarantee they're going to kill a bunch of people or something, and in like an act of passion, they'll like get it on. But I could still see them saving it for next season, depending on the pacing of episode, the penultimate episode here, because there just might be not time, but they might make you still kind of wait for it. And that's one of the things I always really appreciate. I thought they did well in Iron Man 1 was they, even though it's only 2.5 hours, they really built up to Tony and Pepper, and they never gave us that kiss. They never consummated this floaty relationship. We had to wait a whole movie, so I wouldn't mind if we waited a whole season. Do you guys think that next episodes they're gonna get it on?
It's not necessary. I feel like they had a lot more like tension amongst that relationship in the early episodes of the season and just where the show's going. I feel like if I get to the finale and it never happens, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that was a missed opportunity. I feel like, okay, it is a fun relationship there, but now that we're getting into actual like crises mode with the butterflies and what's his dad's like bad guy name? I forget. It's
The
like
White Dragon?
White Dragon.
the White Dragon. So like the White Dragon and the butterflies being like a bigger threat. It's not just about Peacemaker trying to lay with this attractive female. I don't know why I said
Yeah.
lay. I'm talking like a medieval man over here.
You want to lay with me,
Yeah.
madam?
So you pick up ladies at the bar. Would you care to lay with me this evening?
Do you want some freedom?
So yeah, I don't think it's mandatory, but it's also a thing that you could expand upon in the next season. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious of just the relationship of all the characters once it's revealed that Peacemaker's kind of been fucked around with and lied to. So
Yeah. Taylor, you think that's happening?
I'm not gonna lie, I totally blanked out on the question. Can you repeat it?
Hardcore Peacemaker, are they getting it on the next episode?
I had an answer
Little
for
baby
that.
Why did
Peacemakers.
Madison just
All
share the
right.
Wii?
I don't think it's gonna happen yet. I don't know. It just feels weird. Like James Gunn's just. I've mentioned before, behind the camera, just watching his girlfriend, just getting it
Happens
on
a
with
lot.
John Cena, just such a weird kind of like thing. Unless it's his kink, who knows? But
Taylor's telling us what's off limits for the GeekVerse movies as of right now. He does not want to be filming Madison.
if I'm directing the Bigfoot movie, none of you guys are gonna have.
What about if the guy that's playing Bigfoot though? What if they fall in love?
No. Maybe in the
Okay.
sequel.
Taylor won't be on set that day. It's fine.
Jeez.
Okay, so anything else for
That's some like Eyes Wide Shut shit, isn't it?
100%.
Fidelio.
Bigfoot, Fidelio. I'll ask you another time to give me what is Fidelio and Bigfoot speak, So, anything else, gentlemen, on this episode?
Yeah. So you briefly talked about like the show and tell scene. I love that scene.
Yes.
I think John Cena was just killing it with all the line deliveries there. But my favorite moment was when it goes to it's after the character or one of the kids asks if he has like a pet, and he's like, oh yeah, I got a pet eagle, his name's Eagly. And the next kid's like, why is it such an unoriginal name? He's like, why are you my least favorite kid in the class? And the kid just right away, he's like, because I see right through your like facade that you're putting on. It just gets like super real. Fuck, I laughed so hard. It's just like attacking like again like what he's insecure about, and then the kid just sees right through it. He's like, next question. Like it's just fuck, that line was so good.
No, that whole segment was great. It felt like one of those times when SNL actually has a great skit, and you're like, oh, everything's working here. The kids, the lines, John Cena's delivery, and then they give that moment. Then like, oh, what's your origin story? And he says something like, oh, it wasn't the conventional one or something like that. And he just has the flashback again, but this time we had a little more added where he had the flashback to his brother, but then his dad was there. And he turns around and says like, what the fuck were you doing? So we still don't know what's up. I think we're gonna figure that out before we'll be told that before the season ends. But again, it ends with very funny, giving some some shade to what Peacemaker's all about, and then ending in like a tragic way of this reminder of this guy's pretty messed up. And
Yeah.
I love their conversation after too of with the janitor and stuff. And that was a home run scene.
His nicknames for the kids too, like that one kid that called him out. He's like, "Hey, Rubik's Cube champion
2025, yeah.
So
It's like
good.
gender swap Richard E. Newman. That was the Flash.
yeah. Those, all good. I liked it all.
Yeah, great way to start this episode too, because
Yeah.
like after the Mern stuff, we just jumped. I actually think it was right after the intro. It was that classroom scene. And
Well,
great
the
moment
way
for laughs.
the way this classroom scene was going though, because when he was talking about Kite Man, I at first thought it was a flashback to like before things had maybe gone bad, like maybe he was a hero and then some stuff happened, he got in the Suicide Squad. But this was after, so I'm still obviously he doesn't have a bomb implanted in him, but I'm still wondering the complete status of, what his life is like if he finishes mission, like I guess he just can't, they'll just always track him down. He's doing stuff for Waller and everything, so I don't know, I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. But I did think it was a flashback because they were talking about Kite Man right away, so I'm like, oh, this is before like Peacemaker goes down the wrong road. But no, he gets some free time to go to school. So
It's funny to think of like this just happening amongst everything else that's going on. Like he's
Yes.
already like wanted, and then like I didn't really think about it till now.
he's in the
But I'm
school
also
with the kids.
I'm glad it happened because it was a funny moment. So
One thing I want to point out, you mentioned Eagly in the classroom. Eagly's like pop-off scene where Vigilante's like, oh, Eagly's hardcore. Like he just lands on that cop and just fucking rips his face apart. Like, holy shit.
oh yeah, that was one where I'm like, holy shit, this is happening, and then Vigilante just said it, and it was exactly what I was thinking. It's like, holy fuck, that bird goes hard.
Oh yeah. And there you go. I must have missed this line. S Bub says Mern's Mern's fuck. I'm doing S Bub's name to Mern's name. Mern said he did have a bomb still in him, and hardcore says it too, so she can track him. I didn't know that, so fuck, that sucks. So hopefully he gets that out soon after he has some redemption. But yeah, I guess he just has a bomb. But I guess that bomb still allows him to go to school. Just imagine that. They were like, oh, we can't find him, we're gonna fucking blow him to pieces, and he's just at this school with these kids. Either traumatize them or really hurts them. But I guess all in the name of country, right?
That's right. All in the name of peace.
Yeah. No matter how many men and women shot up to take to get it, anything else?
Hardcore did the dove. Oh yeah, you already said that with the P90, and then you comment that she fucked up, didn't put it on the right side. And I liked how that led to just again him like reluctantly like telling the truth that it's not just about the dove of peace. It's actually that he like is getting reluctant to kill people. It's just like his wall that he put up is just shattering, and he just can't like run the facade anymore. I thought that was really good. It was kind of a brief moment, but again, there's more layers to the character, so that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since he put up such a fight like with Mern in the first place when he had to kill Goth. And he's just like, it's all about the dove. Like that's the only reason why I couldn't do it. He's like, really is it? And then here we are a couple episodes later, and we're tackling it again. It was great.
Well, still the dove's not right. It's that's why you can't get it done.
Exactly.
So.
Nothing else though.
Yeah, okay. Well, we will be back next week for the penultimate episode, as always. Should be interesting because that's going to, I think, have a lot of fun moments, a lot of big stuff going down. There'll be some at the finale. So we'll be back next week. Thank you very much, as always, for tuning in. And I promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.